able to live a healthy and alternative lifestyle instead of just medicating everything. Medicine's not everything. Especially when you see those commercials, it's like, this may cause death, stroke, and the list goes on. And it's like, gee,
Yes.
I'll live with the pain.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode on Carpe Diem Living the Podcast. I'm your host, Shane Gitmed, and today we are heading to Pennsylvania, where our guest Jimmy is from. And so I'm really excited for him to come onto the show and tell us about his story and just overall his holistic journey. So welcome to the show, Jimmy.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely.
I'm a motivational speaker, autism advocate, and I'm also slightly autistic and founder of crazyfitnessguy.com.
Awesome. Okay, so many questions. So where did the idea of motivational speaker come from? Did it come from you wanting to just like share your story and help others in the autism world, or how did that come about?
Well, it came about when I had my first interview back in 2018. I was like, speaking of that episode, it's on my homepage of my website and my About Us page on Crazy Fitness Guy. And I decided after that episode, even though I was like totally nervous that interview, I was like all uptight and everything else, and like, don't mess up, Jimmy, don't mess up. And it was like a Facebook Live one, and I was just like feeling so nervous. It's like, I was like, I really liked being interviewed and everything else, and I want to share my journey. And I was being interviewed for like in a totally different major, and when I was in the health and wellness major in college, and I transferred to media studies, where I can be a motivational speaker because I find it suits me more than health and wellness. And like, don't get me wrong, I still love health and wellness. I read like every single article of health and wellness. I have a newsfeed app that has all my health and wellness subscriptions too. Like they're all free. I mean, I'm just like subscribing everywhere, so it's not like just newsletter after newsletter after newsletter. I was like, gosh, if I did one more newsletter, I would get enough from the My Pillow guy. Jeez, only like 50 emails a day. Buy this, buy this, buy this.
I hear you. I get a lot of those marketing emails too, and it drives me up the wall. So I just tell my assistant, I'm like, hey, just either archive or attempt to unsubscribe. So, because isn't it funny how you try to unsubscribe and you still get it? You still get their email, and you're like, I thought I went through this already. So I don't
This
know.
is illegal.
Yeah, it's
If
like
I
you're
do this,
totally
call me on this.
right. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned being really nervous on Facebook Lives, because I did a Facebook Live, my first ever one, as an interview. I think it was a couple weeks ago. And when I'm doing these, interviews, I'm fine. Like I don't have any jitters. I did in the very beginning when I first started the show, but that Facebook Live, I remember just being so nervous because you feel like, since it's live, if something happens, you can't edit it out. You can't there's nothing you can do. And I always have my toddler running around and 2 dogs. So it's like anything could happen at any given time. So I get it.
Well, for my own show, I basically don't even set it up. I set up each episode, and I make sure that I periodically maybe say through the episode that, oh, well, this is unscripted, and it's like, so expect mess ups. And sometimes I can edit out the mess ups, and I even made a premium version where people can listen to all the mess ups and everything.
Oh my gosh. So like your bloopers?
Yep.
Oh,
And no one's subscribed yet, but I was like, I'm gonna keep marketing it. It's like, hey, you want to see bloopers and everything? Here are
like
bloopers
behind the
and
scenes. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that is so funny. Yeah, I think for me, if I were to have my bloopers show, it would me be pausing because I'm telling my dogs like stop barking, or telling my toddler to like get down from there. So there's so many things. So who was your inspiration behind motivational speaking? Like if you were to say like I want to be like that guy, who would that be?
I probably had to say Lewis Howes.
Oh, I
He
love
is really
Lewis House.
cool, laid
Yeah.
back. He seems like to be a cool person to hang out with. Uh, I even said it on a few times on my social media profiles, whether or not, like I told him, it's like, one day I'm going to be on your show. I don't know how yet, but I'm going to be on your show.
I would love to help with that. When I post your episode, I'm gonna tag him and be like, "You need to interview this guy." I'll tag him until finally someone from his team is like, "Hey, watch this episode because they talk about you in here." So
He actually, he actually, he actually has, he actually responded a few times, and like he liked some of
really,
my tweets and Instagram posts, and it's like, man, if only he could get me on his show. That would be.
yeah, that is so cool. Okay, all of you listeners, please send Lewis Howes a message and tell him that Jimmy needs to be on his show.
I
I
have
think
a whole life story. You would never believe any of it.
yes,
Uh,
tell us to what okay, we got to go from the beginning. So, what do you want to share as far as your life story and with autism and everything?
well, I can. Well, uh, growing up on the autism spectrum, it was very hard, a lot of emotions. I was actually on some medication to help me with my mood swings. Not like, not like anything bad mood swings or anything. Wasn't violent, just like I might be like super grouchy then one day or super happy the next day. Um, so I need something to balance out the emotion, and that caused me to gain a significant amount of weight. Uh, but that wasn't just that caused the weight. I was eating very, very unhealthy. I was eating. Uh, I think one of my weaknesses, I would say, would be fudge because I really like homemade fudge,
Sweets, yeah.
especially at the shore where there's like, here's Fudge Kitchen, here's, and it's like, oh my God. And it's like, I was like, oh, here's some free samples of fudge. And it's like, I can never do this job because I just eat it. It's like, not mine.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that is so
And
funny.
so I gained, like, I was close to near obese for my age group back in middle school and high school. And uh, and what I really and I basically my parents always had me pack a lunch, and sometimes they let me buy my lunch at school, but I never really. And I know this can probably sound like a really jerkish thing for me to do, but I never really liked the sandwiches that I always got because it was just kind of boring, same old, same old. And so I just shoved them in the locker and I kind of forgot about them. So then they became all stinky and everything at the end of the year. And
Oh,
there was
wow.
like mold and everything on it. My my teacher told me, it's like, clean it out. I cleaned it out and there's like so many bugs and I had to spray the whole locker. And it's like, how can no one smell this in this hallway? And it's like, because the whole rest of the school smells like crap, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. What grade was this?
This is in middle school.
Middle
And
school. Oh man. You had lockers at your middle school?
yeah.
We did not. At my school, even in high school, I think I've noticed like in especially in the East Coast, the high schools and middle schools are like indoors. Like you guys have the hallways and you know your lockers are in the hall, but for me in California, everything was like outdoor. So like there was
Lucky.
no yeah, so it's like we were so to go to class to class to class, it was all outside. And the only thing that was outside inside was the cafeteria or like the performing arts hall. So yeah, but when I watch movies and shows, I'm like, darn, I wish I had that where I had a locker. And I don't know, maybe it's the other way around for people like you who had that and you're like, I want to be outside.
trust me, the lockers were terrible. You couldn't even fit a book in there.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't all that.
You shove your backpack in there, can't even do that. And it's like this big.
Oh, I'm picturing like the tall, long ones, and
No,
it was not that. Oh, okay, never
no.
mind.
Yeah, yeah. I wish, but no.
So, okay, so now it leads me into, your fitness journey, because you're saying you were near obese, for your age group. So I'm assuming that's what led you to wanting to, get fit and really implement this new lifestyle for your health.
Well, it was that, and also because I was tired. My doctor telling me, he's like, "Well, you could feel better if you lost some weight." And it's like, "Thanks a lot, doc. I really appreciate it."
Just so straight to the point, you're just like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
I was like, "Don't beat around the bush a little bit, please."
Yeah. Oh
And
gosh.
so I lost weight, but I lost 30 pounds with P90X. I did that twice. Uh, one just for uh, one for losing weight, and the second time was later on just to see if I could still do it. And uh, now I work out 6 days a week, and I taking kickboxing classes.
I
Uh,
love
Unfortunately, they're
kickboxing.
all on Zoom, but
Oh,
uh,
okay.
they're open in person. But I'm in the midst of selling my house, uh, uh, so I'm staying on Zoom classes for the time being because I don't know where I'm going to be. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh, relocating during COVID, I can only imagine. Like, oh my gosh, because you're trying to sell your house and everything. Um, but yeah, P90X. I remember doing some of that a while ago. And kickboxing, I definitely loved kickboxing. I used to go to a gym called LA Boxing, and I remember that just being so therapeutic. And I think people don't realize, like, not only is it about, of course, wanting to feel and look good, but also that mental, like what it does for you, your mental wellness. So what differences did you see within yourself other than losing the weight? How it helped you? Did it help with anything to do with like your mood swings? Like, I'm curious to see on what other factors played in.
yeah, it definitely did help with the mood swings. My mom even told me like uh, when I don't work out in the morning, uh, like uh, or I don't work out during just like the whole day. She knows that uh, like I'm more grumpier, or I might just be more negative than uh, where I might say maybe one negative comment or in the passing, but this was just like maybe just like a whole day of just like a rainy cloud over my head. It's like I'm angry for I don't know what reason. I mean, it could be multiple reasons, but to pinpoint one solid answer, I couldn't
Yeah.
give that reason to
Yeah.
anyone. But it helped my mood swings. Helped me got rid of a lot of pimples that I had on the side of my face. My brother made made me feel like I had a big scar on my face, and it's like, oh, thanks. And it's like, yeah, you look like a rash on your face. And it's like, thanks a lot. Uh, and so it helped me relieve a lot of stress. And 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 it's funny, everybody's told me that they knew what they were doing with stress and whatnot. And now I have people coming to me and it's like, what are you doing to manage your stress and whatnot? And it's like, interesting. Now you want my advice. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you're seeing that the results are showing and that it's working for you. And I think that's what, when people start to be more fit, they make that connection that when they're doing physical activity, things that help them, release, any stress that's going on inside, it not only shows on the exterior, but also helps you with clarity. And like you said, your mood swings, like how if you didn't work out in the morning, you were grumpy, but that's probably because you needed to release whatever was going on, and then now you can start your day with a fresh new, outlook. So I know people like that, actually, that need to have their workout in the morning. Otherwise their day is not the way they want it to go. So
Oh, it's really
yeah.
funny. My karate classes are at night, and so I can literally it's like on those days I can wait for my karate classes at night, but but there's just some days where like when I'm doing beach body on demand workouts, it has to be in the morning for me because it's like I'm gonna feel like, well, gee, can I do a beach body on demand workout at night? It's like I'm so used to doing them in the morning, and I might.
So you
And
like
there's
your routine. Yeah.
yeah, and there's some days I still wake up grumpy on karate, but when after I'm done karate, it's like, oh, that felt good to get that off my chest.
Oh, that's so good. See, I think that's what we all need to do is like find that outlet. And for you, it's through physical activity. And now you're turning it into, a brand, Crazy Fitness Guy, which is awesome. What belt are you on with karate and how long have you been doing that?
I'm currently on my high yellow belt. I still have
Okay.
like 8 or 9 belts to go until my black belt.
Wow.
I actually did karate when I was really when I was younger. When I was in New Jersey, then uh, when I moved to Pennsylvania, I started. I stayed with karate, but then I had to quit for a while because I had spinal stenosis in my neck, and so then what I did there, I took like a few years off, and I still have spinal stenosis, but my but of course the rules in karate changed, and now instead of just being mixed martial arts, it's kickboxing or grappling, and so I can still participate in kickboxing as long as I'm sparring with someone who is in control and not going to punch my head off. Uh, Basically, if somebody hit me wrong, I could be paralyzed from basically my whole body down for the rest of my
Wow.
life.
Wow. And then, so, wow, I've never heard of that condition. So I mean, you're pretty brave then to continue to still work out the way you do and have that.
I don't know if you would call it brave or just pure stupidity.
I mean, I know for myself, if I knew I had something that could on the verge, but I mean, hey, living life on the edge, I guess.
Well,
So
if I didn't if I if I limit myself to pretty much everything I do because of my spinal stenosis, I probably wouldn't have a life.
yeah.
Because then I can I can go places by airplane. I mean, obviously not now because of COVID, but before I wouldn't be able to travel by car or plane, and I might as well just be in
In a
a
bubble.
bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Oh
yep,
my
wrap me
God.
up in a bubble wrap.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I hear you. Sometimes you just have to say, forget it. I'm just gonna live life the way I want and whatever happens, happens. So I hear what you're saying when it comes to that. Um, so with autism, so another reason why I thought you'd be a great guest on the show is because I actually have a family member that may be on the spectrum and we still don't know yet. And so I thought it would be really interesting to hear from you for someone that has obviously lived through that and still, of course, is still. So with the holistic lifestyle and the fitness aspect of it, what do you notice as far as like what helps you other than just like the working out and like the mood swings? Is there anything else that comes to mind for someone that may be experiencing this or has a child that may be autistic?
Uh, well, what's helping me? I uh, I talk to a therapist like every 2 weeks. I also I have my I like to have my own calendars. I use Google Calendar to manage a lot of my stuff. And I have like multiple different calendars on Google Calendar. I categorize it like if I need um, help with from my mom, just like helping me edit my papers for school, like because I kind of missed a few things here and there. Uh, Gosh, I absolutely hate writing papers.
Yeah, you're writing a paper before this, so that's why
Yeah,
it's so funny.
yeah, 2 papers,
Yeah, too.
and so I have one for like uh, homework with mom, or I should call it homework help, and then I have one for like uh, I have one for my karate schedule. My home. I also have one for I also have for doctor's appointments. And I also have for like my blog posts when like for holidays and my blogging schedule. And then I have one for my podcasting schedule. And then I also have one just for I have one for just the holidays in the US and everything. And I also have one just for my sports teams, just to add more stuff to my calendar.
Super
And
organized.
well, maybe a little too much. I
I'm
also
right there
use
with you though. I'm so OCD about like my calendars and just like everything. So I can relate on all of that.
I also have a digital to-do list, and I also have this time blocking. I have a block scheduling app called TimeTune. I think it
Time tune,
only
okay.
has an Android app at the moment, but I set like a limit to how for a particular task, so like an hour or 30 minutes. And once that's passed, I like, okay, either come back to this later or the next day, and then I'm going to take a break, or I'm done for the week with it. And I have my homework schedule set that way, but sometimes I go over, but then I start like losing focus, and it's like, when am I done writing? And
Yeah. So time tuner. You said time tuner or time tune?
time tune.
Time tune. Okay, I want to check that out. I mean, it's hard time blocking as a mom because things are constantly in the air and things are always changing. But I think I could implement that like when he's asleep or when he's with my parents. That would be super helpful. So I know our listeners would enjoy that too, just to help them manage their day a little bit better if they need help staying on track with things.
And
Um,
plus, what I really like about it, it can synchronize with your Google Calendar. So if you
uh,
have a task in Google Calendar, it would tell you that it's like, oh, you have a task here. It's like you're going to be interfering with that, and so then you can. And it actually found me a few extra hours in my day on on like other stuff. So like if I want to read a book, it's like, wow, I found 2 hours I didn't even know I had. And it's like, wow, sweet, this thing is like the future or something.
yeah, no, it totally helps with just figuring out like, yeah, where else you can be productive. And I'm the same way where I like to utilize my time, like maximize as much as I can in my time. So no, that's really awesome. So founder of Crazy Fitness Guys. So what does that entail? Tell our listeners, I'm sure they have questions on, do you take on clients? Are you teaching, workouts, or how does that work out for you?
Well, that's funny. It, it used to be just all about like fitness, but now I'm. It's more about healthy living through autistic guys, which is my tagline, and I share my uh, perspective of health and wellness through my autistic eyes. Uh, I wouldn't say I would never, I wouldn't say I would never, but I'm not in the health and wellness um, industry as like going for personal training or anything. Uh, it's more basically, just basically sum up the website. It's basically, I'm trying to motivate people to live a healthy and alternative lifestyle instead of just medicating everything. Medicine's not everything.
Yeah.
Uh, Especially when you see those commercials, it's like, this may cause death, stroke, and the list goes on. And it's like, gee,
Yes.
I'll live with the pain.
No, I am the same way. And me and other guests have talked about that too, where it's interesting. Like every day there's a new product, there's a new, side effect. And you're just like, well, then what's the point of even taking that? So I love that people are being more cognizant of, you don't just take a magic pill and think that it's all going to work out. Like there has to be more to that, which is why health and wellness is doing really well right now, the natural way. So that's great that you're an advocate for autism, and you're tying it into your brand, Crazy Fitness Guy. So that's really inspiring, and I can already see that so many people would love to work with you and watch your story, hear about it because of that. Because I know especially, parents with autistic children, everyone's just trying to navigate, like, how can I help my child, like, be able to, manage their emotions? How am I going to be able to do, a lot of things? And so, based off of the communities I've seen, I know that would help a lot of parents feel more reassurance. Like, even though my child is autistic, he or she is still able to, do whatever they love to do, especially when it comes to holistic living and, activities, just doing sports. I know that's a struggle sometimes for parents trying to get their children to want to be active and be safe at the same time. So definitely, that's really awesome. So how long have you been running Crazy Fitness Guy?
3 years.
3 years? Oh, that's
I never
awesome.
thought I would make it to 3 years.
Yeah. Oh my
And the
gosh.
reason why is because the first year I started, I was on WordPress, and I was working like 90 plus hours a week, and I felt burnout every single week and every single month. I was like, what am I doing? I was like, I'm in over my head. And then I moved to Squarespace, and they manage all the technical stuff for me. So I still have to do all the writing and just maintain, like if I delete a page, I have to redirect that, but that's the easy stuff. And it's like, and the writing part, even though I don't like writing papers, blog posting is much easier because there's not a particular format you have to write in. Screw MLA. I think they
Oh
just
my
did that
gosh,
because it's
yeah.
like, well, we want you to write this paper in this format, and there's like so many different formats apparently. APA, MLA.
Yes. Oh my
There's like
gosh.
one too many.
To be honest, I don't even remember. Like, I would have to see an example because I somewhat recall, but it's a little foggy. I actually co-authored a book recently, and I was like, oh, if I'm gonna have to do some like certain format, we're gonna have some trouble here. But it was not, so thank goodness. But yeah,
That's why
I
if I
totally
ever
get what
wrote
you
my own
mean.
book, it will never be in an MLA format
Yeah, you're just
ever.
gonna go for it. Yeah, I get it. That's how I felt because I was like, I'm really not a fan of writing too many papers. Like, I feel like I'm the type where I know what I want to say in my head, but converting it into writing is not my strongest suit, to be honest. I'm more of a vocal person, which is, I mean, I have a podcast, so I like to talk versus write. But yeah, I think when it comes, when you write your book, which I'll be staying tuned for that, I'm sure you'll write a book someday. It's much easier. I can reassure you on that. That's so awesome. Um, wow, I love, all the things that you're doing right now, especially when it comes to sharing your story. And Lewis Howes, if you're listening, definitely hit Jimmy up. But where can our listeners find you online and connect with you?
They can follow me on Instagram at jimmy.clare.speaker. They can also find me on Twitter, Jimmy Clare Speak, and Facebook, jimmy.clare.speaker, and and LinkedIn at Jimmy Clare.
Perfect. And I'll make sure that is my son in the background. Yeah, but COVID, we're all at home. But yeah, I'll make sure to have all of
Family
your
stay
links.
away.
So I'll make sure to have all of your links in the description, and Jimmy will be in the Podcast Insiders group as well if you want to connect with him there. So thank you all again for listening, and we'll catch you all next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.